Hi guys, everybody. Welcome to another video. This time we are on a 2005 Citroën C2. This is the 1.4 petrol with the engine KVF, if I'm not mistaken, or KFV, something like that. The car came to me. I'm going to show you here. The car came to me because it's kind of overheating and the cooling fans, the radiator fans, are not kicking in. On the ECU, just let it load. Okay, on the ECU we have the following fault. So the petrol and the ECU is this one. So it's KFV. This is the ECU because it's CAN. I need to do that really. Okay. So this is the two faults it comes up with. Speed setting, request of fan, and it comes with cooling function incorporated into the ECU. So it comes with these two faults. If I delete the faults, they go away, but as soon as I try to activate the fans or they try to come on, that comes up. If I try to do an actuator test, I'm gone. Let me do something first, because obviously at the moment there is faults. So we're gonna go back. I'm going to delete these faults. Okay, so fault reading says no faults now. I've turned the engine off, ignition is on. So if I go try to activate the fan, just says that. Not possible. If I try low speed, that's exactly the same thing. So it does not allow me to activate the fan. If I go to cooling, there's no faults on the BSI, obviously. Injection is going to go to the same ECU, obviously. But I will try to go through here, see what it does. do the ignition off and on this time. Still says no faults. And it still says operation not possible. Low speed fan. It still says operation not possible. So I've checked the wiring between the ECU and the plug just above the radiator. I've checked the relay is working. I can activate the fan manually over there by obviously bypassing the commands from the ECU, and the fan works. So I believe there's nothing wrong with the fan itself. I believe it's something else. And from here, what I'm going to probably try to do is I'm going to look to see if there's any software available for this ECU and see if that resolves the issue. If that does not resolve the issue, then it might going to be that there's actually something inside the actual ECU. So I'm going to try the software update first, see what happens. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to have a look on the inside of the ECU. Okay, so we're going to go now try to update this engine ECU. So the ECU we want is going to be the engine one. I don't know if there is a software available, but we're going to try. It's going to do an identification of the ECU. So that's the ECU we're going to try to update. So it was updated in 2004, or probably is the original software. Well, that's correct. I don't know if you can hear, but the fan is now kicking in. That's normal, because the ECU kind of goes offline, so it does that. And it looks that it starts to download. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the fan, because I don't want the fan to drain the battery, because that will give me some other trouble. So we're going to wait for the download to be finished. Fingers crossed it's not going to fail. And that's it for now. It goes at 15% now, as you can see over there. 17. Oh, it's going to be a long wait. 71% now. 73. I had to connect the laptop to the charger in the meantime. There's one thing just to point out. Make sure you have enough power on your laptop battery. If you are running from battery, make sure you have enough battery. I had the car running for a few minutes before I actually start the reprogramming. So make sure you turn anything that consumes power on the car, turn it off. Like I've turned the fan off when it came back on. I've just unplugged the fan. So you need to make sure you keep your battery level. and 97% now. Should be nearly finishing. Okay, switch off the ignition, then switch on. So switch off the ignition, ignition off, switch ignition back on, and then validate. So the software update has been successful. It's just gonna make sure so there is no new update for this. Let's just just to confirm, there is downloading date 2010-16, and obviously I can't remember now, but surely if you're gonna check all these numbers, you're gonna see that they are different. So the update went okay. Now I'm gonna connect, turn the ignition off. Is on economy mode at the moment. It's gonna turn that fan back on. So I'm just gonna put the relay back on in there. Okay, so the relay is back on. I'm gonna start the engine because it's in economy mode, so I'm gonna start the engine. The engine is running. Now we're gonna go under diagnosis. Go function. There's no point, just let it run to recharge the battery slightly. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna leave the engine running for a few minutes before I turn the ignition off and back on to then check to then diagnose the ECU. Okay, I have the engine running for some time now, for some minutes, for a few minutes. So it's gonna diagnose these now. So switch off and switch on. Okay, we still have this, possibly from the last possibly from before the update. It's gonna cycle the ignition. Gonna try to activate the fan now, see what happens. Okay, still says operation not possible. Still says operation not possible. And at this point, I'm gonna go to configuration. Let me see what's on the configuration. At the moment, I'm start to so there's only one variable speed. One speed fan without, this is with air conditioning. So I need to leave it like that. Just in case if someone has been messing around with this, but I don't think no one did. Okay, so at the moment I don't have a clue why the fan is not kicking in, and it might be that is actually a problem with the ECU itself. So am I gonna have to remove the ECU and try to see what is wrong inside that ECU, because the cooling system is controlled by the ECU itself. So if it's giving me a fault on that, it's going to be inside the ECU for sure. So I've deleted the codes on the ECU, and before I actually moved on, because I've deleted that and it actually never came back on. Those two faults. So I'm now monitoring the cooling and air conditioning. The engine is now at 82 degrees. Fan unit relay is active. It is. That should become active when you turn the ignition on. And obviously the fan unit speed reference at the moment is 0%. So I'm waiting to see when the engine starts to request the fan to kick in. I want to see exactly what happens. So we're going to monitor this, and hopefully we'll have a better conclusion of what's going on, or a better idea of what's going on. So the fan is now kicked in. It's asking for 27%, 26. It's coming down. It kicked in when the coolant temperature reached about 87 degrees, something like that. It started to ask for the fan. The fan was running at 29%. It's now coming down. It's at 25 now. But I want to show you the fan is actually running. So the fan is actually running with no faults. It's running fine. It's at 25%. I don't know if he's gonna ask for more. I would like to see the speed increasing. And I believe now, I'm thinking about, I believe that the reason why I can't output the fan to work is because, if you remember in the active test, it's only ask you to go low speed and full speed. So maybe because, I'm not sure, and maybe because this is a variable speed, you can't activate that way. Now, am I gonna have a look later to see if there's any other way to activate this fan? But it might be because of that. So at the moment it's slowing down the fan, as you can see. It's now at 22%. I've been here revving the engine at about 2,200 RPMs. The cooling fan dropped down to about 21% or something like that, and to be honest with you, I couldn't get the engine above 85, as it is 85, 86. So the only way to make that, as you can see in there, the only way to make it to go up was by actually turn the air conditioning on. So when it goes on, obviously it's asking for a little bit more of speed. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to wait to see how high or how fast it's going to ask for the fan to go, and we're going to go there, see if we actually can notice a difference in speed. So he's asking for 38% now. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disable the air conditioning, and I'm going to go with the camera with the engine running, because obviously that as soon as I disable, he's going to ask for that to slow down, I believe. So we're going to see if we can actually physically see the fan slowing down. So it might going to be noisy in there, so we might not going to be able to hear me talk, but we'll see, just to demonstrate that the fan is actually working. So I've disabled the air conditioning. So he's asking for 37% at the moment. 35, so he's slowing down. I do apologize, I've run out space on my phone while I was recording, but these last 10 seconds you see of the fan running, it was now at 26. I don't know if you were able to see the difference, but definitely it was running slightly slower. So yeah, I have no reasons to believe that there's a problem with the cooling system now. It looks like the update to the ECU has actually resolved the problem, and I only have about a minute of space on my phone, so I'm just going to quick scan the car again, make sure there's no faults in there now that the system is running and the fan is running, but hopefully that the problem is solved. You need to take my word for this, but I came straight from the live data into here, and that's what I'm presented with. No faults found, or no fault found. So yes, updating the ECU has indeed resolved this problem with the cooling fan, and that's it really. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Hope it can help you. I don't know what caused that problem on the ECU. It could have been, I don't know, maybe a power surge that somehow has corrupted the software in there. I don't know. It could be many things, but sorry, I shouldn't run out again. But yeah, but it's the update has resolved the problem. And that's it. Any questions, put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.